It was a hot summer day on when Sumitra, a teenager from Uttar Pradesh, was walking through a busy flea market. The sun was blazing and the air felt heavy. She was looking for something interesting, something different. As she wandered through the crowded stalls, her eyes landed on an old mirror. It had a beautifully carved wooden frame, its glass slightly cloudy. It was nothing like the modern mirrors she had at home, and it caught her attention. "How much for this?" she asked the old vendor. He smiled and gave her a price that seemed too good to resist. Sumitra didn't think twice. She bought the mirror, excited to put it in her room as a quirky decoration. At first, it seemed harmless enough. She hung it on the wall next to her bed, where it added a mysterious charm to her room. But soon, she started noticing something strange. One evening, as she brushed her hair in front of the mirror, she saw her reflection do something she didn't. She turned her head to the left, but the reflection turned right. She felt a shiver down her spine. Maybe it was just her imagination. The next day, she stood in front of the mirror again, doing nothing unusual, just staring at her own reflection. But then, the reflection began to act on its own, moving in ways she didn't. It grinned at her, a twisted smile she hadn't made. Her heart skipped a beat. Each day, it got worse. The reflection didn't just mimic her actions in reverse anymore. It started doing things on its own. Sometimes, it would move its hand toward the mirror, as if reaching out for her. And one night, as she lay in bed, she could hear soft tapping sounds coming from the mirror, like someone was knocking from the other side. Sumitra tried to ignore it, but it was impossible. The reflection was getting more sinister. It started to look darker, its smile crueler. One evening, she noticed that the reflection didn't just copy her actions. It seemed to be watching her, studying her every move. She tried to leave the room, but the reflection stayed still, staring at her with its cold, empty eyes. The more she tried to get away, the stronger its grip seemed to be. Then, one night, Sumitra woke up to the feeling of something cold against her skin. She looked up in panic. There, standing in the mirror, was her own reflection. But it wasn't her. The reflection smiled at her one last time, then stepped out of the mirror. Sumitra screamed, but no sound came out. Her own reflection was now standing in the real world, and she was trapped inside the mirror, staring helplessly at the room she once knew as home. The next morning, the flea market was gone, and the old vendor was nowhere to be found. All that remained was the empty spot where Sumitra had once stood, and in the mirror, a new reflection stared back. Follow the Creep screams for more real-life horror and creepy stories like this. Check out our top comment for most creepy fact about it.